Everybody, welcome into our NBA TV studios for major breaking news this afternoon. Kristaps Porzingis has been dealt a reported deal that has Porzingis going to the Dallas Mavericks. Porzingis has missed this entire year with an ACL injury. Last year, Porzingis averaged nearly 23 points per game, an all-star. The fourth pick back in the 15 draft will be a restricted free agent, but there is a report from The Athletic this afternoon that Porzingis has indicated to the Mavs that he will sign his qualifying offer this summer, maintaining his status with the Mavs through next season. The Knicks get back Dennis Smith Jr., a promising young point guard who seemed to not work well with the Dallas Mavericks last year. And now the Knicks also getting massive cap space in this deal. They will now free up in the range of $75 million in cap space for the upcoming season. All right, welcome into our studio here as we have breaking news. Jared Greenberg with you. Sekou Smith from NBA.com joining us as well. All right, this is an incredible breaking news story that has interrupted our conversation about Anthony Davis and where he may or may not be headed anytime soon. Here's the deal. Porzingis is out. We had heard a couple of hours ago that he met with the Knicks, Sekou, and the impression was that the Knicks felt he wanted to trade. He was frustrated with the state of the franchise and his role within the organization. And then hours later, a 23-year-old is dealt.
Well, it's interesting, Jared. There was talk about this before the regime changed, before Scott Perry came in to be the general manager of the New York Knicks. Steve Mills was a part of that. So there's been some friction, that we can report with Kristaps Porzingis before this deal went down, before this latest, news that he wanted out of New York. The strange part is where the destination ended up being. To go to Dallas and to have the deal they're doing with Dallas be a part of this is just amazing. You don't know what the long-term ramifications are for the Mavericks, but you certainly put Kristaps Porzingis on a roster right now with Luka Doncic. And you talk about the potential, that pairing would have long-term, Jared. That's something unbelievable, something that could be a game changer in the Western Conference for the Mavericks in terms of putting them back into place as one of the, elite teams in the West in a couple of years when Porzingis comes back from that injury and if Luka Doncic continues to develop.
Listen, this appears to be quite the bold move here by the Knicks. The indication right away says, okay, we can be the worst team in basketball right now. We can go and try and get one of the top 3 picks in the NBA draft and create all this cap space. But draft picks and cap space have never won games. So is it worth all of this cap space and the potential with 7 or 8 marquee free agents coming to be unrestricted this summer and the potential to get one of the highly touted top 2 or 3 draft picks to give up a guy like Porzingis?
Well, if you look at the landscape of the league right now, with Anthony Davis's name being in the news the way it has been, demanding a trade, requesting a trade, obviously, from New Orleans, if you're the Knicks and you're going to be in this same predicament with Kristaps Porzingis down the road, being proactive right now maybe makes sense for you. And it puts you in a position, Jared, think of the free agent class coming up this summer in 2020. You have some key free agents.
But the question
potentially
is,
Kevin Durant, who has connections to your organization,
no question.
Scott Perry and through Royal Ivey, who's an assistant coach. There's some attachments there that you have to explore.
With so many teams, double-digit teams having cap space this upcoming summer, isn't the thought that you'd rather have talent to lure in a free agent? Now the cupboard's bare, and you get to start over, which sometimes is great, right? The Knicks cupboard is going to be completely bare. They're going to be free of any, bad contracts. They also get rid of Tim Hardaway Jr., which this administration, not Scott Perry, but Steve Mills signed,
right.
Which was many criticized as an ill-advised signing. Courtney Lee, they're going to get out from his contract. But again, now you're asking a guy like Kevin Durant to come in and play alongside a top 3 pick. Kevin Durant, if he's your target, he wants to win now.
Well, yeah, and everybody wants they want it all. They want to win now. They want the max contract. You want all those things. But if you're the Knicks, you clear the decks now and you avoid potentially, like I said, the same issue that's plaguing the New Orleans Pelicans right now, which to me becomes seminal for some of these organizations, Jared. If you're talking about rebuilding your organization and moving on to that next phase, you can't do it if Kristaps Porzingis is looming out there as a guy who maybe doesn't want to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's a bold move by the Knicks today, who again trade Kristaps Porzingis. We're talking about a 23-year-old who in his third season in the NBA was an all-star. He was a guy who many projected to be on the path to being one of the most talented players in this league. Now, there's a long way to go with that, but again, here's the other thing to keep in mind. The Knicks had the ability to match any offer that Porzingis had got this summer. So while there could have been bold, quote-unquote, poison pill contracts, at the very least, they still had Porzingis under their control for many years to come. Let's look at this from the Dallas viewpoint now, because we spent a lot of time on the Knicks, and we'll get to more. We're going to get a lot of contributors as we are live at NBA TV talking about this deal, which sends Porzingis to Dallas in exchange for Dennis Smith Jr., which is so interesting because Knicks fans for the last 12 months, Sekou, have been killing the Knicks organization for drafting Frank Ntilikina and not drafting Dennis Smith Jr.
Well, now you get what you wanted.
Right.
You maybe get it at the expense of something much greater. But Jared, I can't stress enough the notion that you cannot get too deep into a guy's career and have what's happened. Think about the stars in recent years who have requested or demanded trades or fought their way out of one city to go to another. And you can go all the way, Paul George, Kyrie Irving. You know, I think this is the Knicks doing some preventive maintenance, if you will, on their organization in terms of not wanting to enter into that realm of having a disgruntled or unhappy Kristaps Porzingis on a roster in a place where he doesn't want to be.
The Mavs, in addition to Smith, they give up Wesley Matthews Jr. and DeAndre Jordan, both who are expiring contract. Guys that don't have a long-term future in New York. There's a potential that they get bought out and now become attractive candidates on the buyout market in the next few weeks. Right now, the Mavs are in a situation where you've got Porzingis with Doncic. Obviously, Dirk is on his way out, but serving as that great mentor. Now, listen, Dallas wasn't going to get a draft pick this year, more than likely, because they had given that up to Atlanta for Doncic. So now, instead of just seeing nothing happen and maybe not being an attractive free agent destination, they now get Porzingis to pair with Doncic and some other key pieces that they're building around and the ability to make some more trades.
Sure, and look, just in Porzingis and Doncic alone, when Porzingis is healthy, you're talking about one of the most dynamic 1-2 punches in the league. The size, the length, the athleticism. Both guys are accomplished. Doncic obviously, overseas before coming here and now being the front runner for Rookie of the Year. You mentioned Kristaps Porzingis has already been an all-star in his career. This is potentially an explosive pairing in terms of what these two guys can do offensively, what kinds of players they would be, and reshaping your franchise if you're Dallas in the aftermath of what will at some point be Dirk Nowitzki retiring and moving on in his career.
Not after the way he played last night. He may have another year left in him. All right, so the major breaking news is that Dennis Smith Jr. goes to New York. Dallas gets Kristaps Porzingis along with Tim Hardaway Jr. and Courtney Lee in those contracts that are going to make it interesting for the Mavs in terms of their cap situation.